Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the President celebrated the 20th anniversary of AmeriCorps, awarded the Medal of Honor to 2 American heroes, detailed U.S. efforts to combat the outbreak of Ebola in West Africa at the CDC in Atlanta, spoke to the troops at MacDill Air Force Base about our strategy against ISIL, before returning to the White House to meet with the Ukrainian President. That's September 12th to September 19th, or you guys aren't usually this quiet, are you?
Everybody's being all quiet. You guys aren't usually this quiet, are you? Are you really? No.
On Friday, the President was joined at the White House by President Clinton to celebrate the 20th anniversary of AmeriCorps. To date, 900,000 Americans have volunteered to serve in AmeriCorps, including the First Lady.
So the Obama household was on board with AmeriCorps from the start. And for those of you who know my story, starting off as a community organizer, I would not be standing here if it were not for service to others and the purpose that service gave my own life.
That evening, the President traveled to Fort McHenry in Baltimore to see the original manuscript of the Star-Spangled Banner on the occasion of the 200th anniversary of its penning by Francis Scott Key. Over the weekend, Dr. Biden led a presidential delegation to the Invictus Games in London, an international sporting event for injured service members and veterans.
These games really show the spirit of the military and how they persevere and their resilience.
Competing is part of my life, and when I got injured, I wanted to get back competing as quick as I could. So once you're on the track, you're just riding, and just one step in front of the other, and just go as fast as you can, as hard as you can, which is kind of like recovery.
Sometimes you get down, it's like, man, look what happened to me. But with sports, and adaptive sports, it just clears your mind and makes you forget about whatever happened to you and enjoy life and enjoy what you're doing.
While there, Dr. Biden commemorated the centennial start of the First World War by participating in the art installation Blood-Swept Lands and Seas of Red at the Tower of London. On Monday, the President awarded the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military distinction, to 2 veterans of the Vietnam War, Command Sergeant Major Benny Atkins and Specialist 4 Donald Sloat.
Normally, this medal must be awarded within a few years of the action. But sometimes even the most extraordinary stories can get lost in the fog of war or the passage of time. Yet when new evidence comes to light, certain actions can be reconsidered for this honor, and it is entirely right and proper that we have done so, and that is why we are here today.
The President then welcomed the co-champions of the 2014 Scripps National Spelling Bee and their families to the Oval Office, where he's able to chat and even learn a new word or two.
He misspelled Corpruder and I misspelled Antigropoulos.
Antigropoulos? Antigropoulos. A-N-T-A-G-R-O-P-O-L-I-S.
Not
way off. But it sounds not bad. It sounds plausible.
Yeah, it's like the Greek root for like mud, so it's like mud boots.
Excellent. And what was your word again?
Corpruder.
Corpruder? What
Yep.
is a corpruder?
It is a friend or a close comrade.
All right. I'm not even going to try to spell that one. Corpruder.
Meanwhile, in Switzerland, Dr. Biden toured Bueller, a company whose global apprenticeship program includes positions in the United States and is similar to job training programs the Obama administration is committed to replicate and expand here in the States to ensure that American workers have the skills they need to succeed in the global economy.
There, we did it. Can I have a job here?
On Tuesday, the President traveled to Atlanta, where he was briefed by public health experts at the Centers for Disease Control on the Ebola outbreak in Africa. After meeting with doctors and healthcare professionals from Emory University, President Obama outlined Operation United Assistance, the wide-scale U.S. mission to combat the epidemic in Africa.
Right now, the world has the responsibility to act, to step up, and to do more. The United States of America intends to do more, to not just save the lives of families like the one I just discussed, but ultimately to make sure that this doesn't have the kinds of spillover effects that become even more difficult to control.
On Wednesday, the President headed to MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida, to visit U.S. Central Command and spoke to service members about the fight against ISIL.
Now, going forward, as I announced last week, we're going to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL through a comprehensive and sustained counterterrorism strategy. And whether in Iraq or in Syria, these terrorists will learn the same thing that the leaders of al-Qaeda already know. We mean what we say. Our reach is long. If you threaten America, you will find no safe haven. We will find you eventually.
Before departing the base, the president stopped by General Clarence Tinker Elementary School to say hello to students and teachers.
My mom and dad picked a channel that had you on TV.
Was I on TV?
Yeah.
Really?
I saw you on TV.
You did? I'm here just to say that I'm so proud of you guys because I hear that you guys are doing really good in school.
That evening, the president returned to Washington and hosted the 2014 congressional picnic on the south lawn of the White House.
Hey, give me a high five. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good handshake.
On Thursday, the president met with Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko in the Oval Office. Later Thursday evening, the president delivered a statement at the White House to thank Congress for taking bipartisan action to give the administration the authority it needs to train Syrian opposition fighters to take the fight to ISIL. So remember, you can find out more information about any of these topics or see complete videos of these events at whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out this edition of your West Wing Week.
Let me just say, the first thing you need to know is when Benny and I met in the Oval Office, he asked if he could sign back up. Please, come in.
I'm trying to see, maybe you have that authority. I'm just 80, can I re-enlist?
You look like you could parachute back in someplace, but I think you've done your time. I think you deserve a break. How are you?